Kita udah janji. Susah.
Tuhan menciptakan Adam dari tanah dan
Lo masih muda, cantik. Lo masih bisa cari yang lain. Saya nggak mau.
Jangan-jangan lu suka ya dipukulin. Hatiin sama dia.
Apapun.
At the beginning of the movie, a preacher on TV declares that women who constantly fuss about equality are sinful and do not understand religion or their own nature. He explains that God created Adam from clay and Eve from Adam's rib, implying that women are inherently less than men. We then see a girl named Renata, who hears her parents fighting and is scared to death as she hides under a table and covers her ears. Her dad beats her mother and leaves, while the preacher on TV says that men and women can never be equal. He asserts that men have control over women, and that it is in a woman's nature to submit to men. Renata's mom tells her that what God has united cannot be separated and asks her to pray with her. As they pray, Renata watches her mom crying, and the scene cuts here. Years later, Renata is married to a man named Edwin, and we see bruises on her body. Later, the preacher on TV claims that the key to a perfect and happy marriage is a wife who submits to her husband. According to him, a devoted wife will bring harmony in this world and the afterlife. He emphasizes that it is a great sin for a wife to disobey her husband, warning that God will be furious with wives who disobey and that they will receive punishment in hell. We then see Renata and Edwin having breakfast, and it's clear that their marriage is not happy. Renata notices that Edwin doesn't like the food and asks if she should make something else for him. Edwin checks his phone and tells her that he is heading out. Before he leaves, he checks her face and tells her to stay at home, keep the door locked, and not let anyone in. She asks if she should clean his office, to which he threatens her to stay out of it. Later, while she is washing dishes, Renata becomes saddened when she hears a woman moaning next door. Afterward, she watches a TV show where a man talks about ending his marriage with his wife. Renata imagines herself in the woman's place and speaks her dialogue. Just then, she hears the sound of a door opening and quickly turns off the TV. She goes to check, and suddenly someone tries to open the door and starts knocking. Fearfully, Renata opens the door to find a woman named Maya, who tells her that there is a cake package for her. Maya tries to come inside, but Renata takes the cake from her hand. Maya asks if her husband is around, and as Renata tries to go back inside, Maya asks if she saw her. At that moment, the neighbor intervenes, and Maya leaves. The neighbor asks Renata if she still wants to live there, mentioning that the place is no longer fit for habitation, to which Renata just goes inside and locks the door. Later, Renata receives a call from her mom, who wishes her a happy birthday. Her mom asks if she is all right, and Renata reassures her that she is fine and thanks her for the birthday wishes. After some time, while sleeping, Renata has a dream in which she is very happily dancing with Edwin. Suddenly, she sees a woman there, which disturbs her greatly, and she wakes up from her sleep. She notices that Edwin has returned home and immediately goes to him, asking if she can bring him something to eat or drink. However, he says he is very tired and is going to bed. The next day, Renata watches the same TV drama where a woman is confronting a prostitute over her husband. The prostitute argues that men prefer women who are expressive and not presumptuous. So, before insulting her, she should realize her husband is a hypocrite and learn that whoever dominates in bed also dominates in life. Later, Renata encounters the woman next door, who remarks that she hasn't seen her much since she moved in. The woman introduces herself as Asmara and says she must be Renata. She is quite a legend here, and people call her the devout wife. She expresses that if being a devoted wife means tolerating your husband beating you, she would prefer to be an unfaithful wife. She asks if she thinks she can hide the bruises on her face, and comments that even a loyal dog will attack its owner if mistreated. Later, in the laundry room, Asmara's boyfriend joins her, and they both start getting intimate there. After a while, they both leave, and as Renata collects her clothes, she gets startled seeing a woman in the mirror, and only then does a man ask her to hurry up as he's closing up. As Renata is leaving the place, She hears the sound of a woman singing, but when she turns back, there is no one there. Her attention is then drawn to a notice about a missing woman named Anna. Suddenly, the lights start turning off, and as Renata leaves, we see Maya standing behind her. When Renata reaches home, she receives a call for Edwin from his company. The caller informs her that they have been trying to reach Edwin's cell phone without success, and that he has been absent from work without notice for the past few days. Just then, Edwin returns home and asks Renata who is on the phone, to which she says her mom. During dinner, Renata hesitantly asks Edwin if everything is going well at work. He responds sharply, asking why she would ask such a question, and insists that her only responsibility is to take care of the house, not to meddle in his work. Only then, he gets a notification on his phone, and he tells her that he has some work to do, so she should go to bed. The next day, Renata visits the church with Edwin, where the preacher states that in the history of life, Adam was created first, with Eve following later. He emphasizes that men should not be tempted by women, but rather, women appear as temptations to men. Asmara asks, why women are always made scapegoats for men's poor morals. The preacher continues, saying women were born as accomplices of the devil, and their lips are like venomous snakes. Asmara tells Renata that all his preaching degrades women because he is impotent. She asks Renata to tell her husband that if he wants to ogle other women, he should not do it in a place of worship or in front of his own wife. Renata then notices the woman there, whom Edwin was staring at. That night, Renata has a nightmare again, in which she sees the woman and suddenly wakes up gasping. Only then does she hear a woman laughing in the house, so she comes out and starts walking towards Edwin's office. Edwin confronts her, asking what she is doing. He grabs her by the throat and reminds her how many times he has told her to stay out of his office. Renata mentions she heard a woman's voice, but Edwin dismisses it, saying there is no one else there. Renata then hears a woman singing from his office, but when Edwin asks if she doesn't believe him, she hesitantly suggests it might have been a dream. The next day, Renata visits Asmara's apartment and asks if she has ever experienced anything strange, like hearing voices or seeing unusual things while living there. Asmara responds that many people are leaving because the building is run down and rumored to be converted into a mall. She suggests that if there really is a ghost, Renata should befriend it as a way to keep herself company when she's lonely. But if she makes friends with a ghost, her husband might beat her again. Renata protests that her husband is not like that and starts to leave. But Asmara stops her, insisting that no one deserves to be treated that way. She offers Renata wine to help her relax. And the next moment, Renata is fully drunk and reciting dialogues from the TV drama. Asmara chuckles and asks Renata to say all men are jerks, and Renata complies. Encouraged, Asmara asks her to say it louder, and soon joins in herself, and we see Renata actually enjoying herself in the moment. Later, Asmara tells Renata that she is beautiful, but too naive. She remarks that men love having a wife like her, but also get bored quickly with women like her. Asmara then asks Renata when was the last time her husband had sex with her, and if he looked her in the eye during that moment. Renata recalls the moment, and Asmara suggests that she ask her husband who he was thinking of during sex with her. Feeling uncomfortable, Renata abruptly says she has to leave as it's getting late, and before she goes, she asks Asmara not to let her husband know she was there. Later, when Renata goes to throw out the garbage, she finds a lipstick in it. She brings the lipstick back home and keeps it in a box, and as she does so, she is startled to see a woman in the house. Renata comes out but encounters Edwin there. She attempts to seduce him, but he asks her to go to bed and not wait for him. The next day, Renata finds Asmara in the laundry again, and they once again drink wine together and enjoy each other's company. After a while, Asmara asks Renata what would make her happy, to which Renata shares that she wants to have children because her mother told her it could improve her relationship with Edwin. Then, Asmara and Renata play act as if Renata is giving birth to a child, and afterward, they both leave the laundry room together. When Renata returns home, she discovers 2 glasses of wine on the table. Furious, she picks up one of the glasses, and at that moment, she notices a woman passing behind her. Renata can't discern whether there is truly a woman in the house, or if she is hallucinating. But then she hears the sound of running water. Frightened, she moves towards the bathroom, only to find no one there but the tap running. Renata retreats to her room and is horrified to see the woman's reflection in the mirror. On the other hand, in Maya's apartment, we see some kind of ritual going on, and meanwhile, Renata is praying fervently to God to save her marriage and keep Edwin safe from temptations. After a while, the shaman tells Maya that she saw her with a man, and something terrible happened. She whispers something to Maya, and just then, Edwin breaks in. He asks Renata to take pills, suggesting she is afraid of her imagination. Renata insists she didn't imagine it and claims to have proof. However, when Renata comes out, she discovers that the wine bottle and glasses are no longer there. Edwin insists she takes pills to calm down, to which Renata expresses fear that the pills might hinder her chances of conceiving. Edwin coldly informs her that the doctor said she cannot get pregnant, suggesting that perhaps it's for the best, as God knows she isn't fit to be a mother. He then forcibly gives her the pills before leaving. Later, while Renata is under the influence of her medication, she overhears a woman asking Edwin why he doesn't just kick Renata out, so they don't have to look for another house. Renata peeks into Edwin's office and is devastated to witness him being intimate with a woman. She gets deeply disturbed by the sight, and as she sees the woman's face, she recalls the missing poster she saw recently and realizes it's the same woman she saw at the church as well. The next day, Renata asks Asmara if she knows the missing girl Anna and why she went missing. Asmara speculates that she probably ran off with someone's husband and questions why she wants to know about her. Renata remains quiet, prompting Asmara to suggest that she is young and could find someone else. But Renata responds by saying she doesn't want to ruin her marriage. Later, when Edwin returns home, he finds Renata dressed provocatively and waiting for him. She approaches him and tells him he can do whatever he wants, as she just wants to please him. As they begin to get intimate, Renata sees Anna's reflection in the mirror in her place, which disturbs her. At that moment, Edwin interrupts and asks her who taught her to behave like this. He grabs her by the neck and forces her to look at herself in the mirror, calling her a cheap whore. He asks if she thinks he would approve of this. Renata calls him a hypocrite, which infuriates him, and he slaps her in anger. He then tries to give her the pill, but she refuses. This makes him even angrier, and he takes out his belt and starts beating her. The next day, Renata visits her mom's house, where she is told that no husband would ever beat his wife without cause, and that it is the wife's responsibility to protect the marriage in any case. They suggest she learn to be a better wife and reflect on her behavior. Renata expresses that she has to leave because Edwin would be furious if he knew she was gone, to which her mother asks if she came without his permission and warns her not to do it again. Renata returns with a very sad heart, but then she sees Aina passing by. Renata starts following her and reaches Maya's apartment, where she sees Maya sitting in front of a mirror and mumbling something. As Renata moves forward, Maya suddenly asks her to have a seat and offers to make her something to drink. While Maya goes into the kitchen, Renata enters a room and, to her shock, finds Anna's photos on the wall. She finds more photos in a drawer, one of which is of her and Edwin, along with a used pregnancy test kit. Seeing this, Renata becomes very upset, and she sees Anna again. But when she goes after her, Maya stops her and asks what happened. Renata runs out of the apartment, looking for Anna, and recalls Edwin telling her that the doctor said she couldn't be pregnant. When Renata comes to her floor crying, Asmara asks her why she chooses to be treated this way, and why she doesn't just leave him. Renata says she doesn't need her advice and moves forward to enter her apartment. But Asmara tells her that no matter how much she holds on, Edwin doesn't love her. The next day, Renata finds Anna in her house and watches her go into Edwin's office. She shares this with Asmara, telling her that her husband is having an affair with Anna. Asmara asks why she doesn't kick her out, reminding her that as his lawful wife, she has the right to do so. She even offers to do it for Renata if she's scared. Renata tries to stop her, but Asmara storms into the house and confronts Anna, demanding that she leave. Renata overhears them arguing and hears Anna pleading with Asmara not to hurt her. Renata rushes to her apartment and gets terrified seeing Anna's lifeless body on the floor. She tells Asmara that she didn't ask her to kill her and insists she is not involved, to which Asmara responds that she can't simply walk away since her husband's mistress was killed in her house. Both of them place Anna's body in a suitcase, take it away, and dispose of it in a lake. Later that night, Edwin falls asleep on the couch outside while watching TV. Renata comes out to check on him, but then Edwin's phone rings, and Renata is horrified to see that it is Anna calling. The next day, Asmara tells Renata that perhaps Edwin is having another affair with a different Anna. Renata asks, "What if she isn't dead?" To which Asmara says she is being too paranoid and should take her medication before things get worse. Renata asks, how does she know she take medication? To which Asmara tells her to calm down and never bring up Anna again to avoid arousing suspicion. She asks Renata to leave and assures her that she will take care of Edwin. When Renata asks what she means, Asmara simply shuts the door. When Renata returns to her apartment, she finds Maya trying to open Edwin's office door. She warns Maya to leave or her husband will be furious. Maya claims she knows everything, but Asmara interrupts and demands to know what she knows. Asmara takes the scissors from Maya and tells her that she is old and won't be around much longer, so she should relax and enjoy her old age. Frightened, Maya runs away, and Asmara reassures Renata to leave everything to her. The next day, Renata discovers that someone in their building has died, and when she asks about it, Asmara informs her that Maya was killed by someone the previous night. Later, Renata hears a woman laughing in the house again, and when she comes out to check, she is shocked to see Asmara sitting with Edwin. After Edwin leaves, Renata confronts Asmara, asking her what she's doing there and urging her not to do anything rash. Asmara stands up and picks up a photo, asking if it's Renata's engagement picture, and mentions that the lake in the background looks familiar. Edwin returns with wine for Asmara and asks if the two of them already know each other. Asmara then returns to the couch, and Edwin brings pills, asking Renata to take them. Despite her reluctance and confusion, Renata is compelled to take the pills, unsure of what is happening around her. Sometime later, under the influence of the medication, Renata sees Asmara and Edwin sitting together, enjoying themselves. The next day, while Renata is in the bathtub, she is horrified to see Anna watching her. Suddenly, Anna attacks her and tries to drown her in the water, but Renata manages to escape from it. She rushes to Asmara and tells her that Anna is still alive and is here. Asmara angrily tells her not to mention that name again, and curses at Renata. Renata insists that she's worried about their safety, and she must believe her. However, Renata is shocked when she sees a photo of Asmara with Edwin together, and then finds Edwin sleeping in her bedroom. She asks her why she is doing this to her, and then leaves there in shock. Later, we see Renata praying to God to save her marriage, and suddenly she hears Asmara scream. She rushes to Asmara's apartment, and to her horror, she finds Asmara's lifeless body lying on the floor, covered in blood. Renata returns to her apartment, horrified, and to her shock, she finds a knife covered in blood in the dustbin. Just then, Edwin arrives and asks what she is looking for. Renata confronts him and demands to know what he did, to which Edwin says he warned her to stay home, but she disobeyed him, went out without his permission, and lied to him. Renata tries to flee, but he knocks her down. The next day, when Renata wakes up, she is shocked to see Asmara in her house. Edwin informs Asmara that he has an urgent meeting and leaves. Confused, Renata comes out to confront Asmara and asks her what is happening. Asmara explains that she has been trying to protect Renata from Edwin and salvage her failing marriage. She accuses Renata of allowing Edwin to get away with everything all this time, deluding herself into believing that her marriage was perfect. Asmara bitterly suggests that Renata dreams of being like her, a desired woman, cared for and cherished by her partner. Renata asks Asmara to stop, but Asmara insists that Edwin no longer loves her and that Renata needs to face reality. She tells her that Anna is pregnant with Edwin's child, something Renata can never give him, and warns that it's only a matter of time before he completely abandons her. The scene shifts, and we see Edwin telling Renata that he doesn't love her anymore. Renata pleads that she doesn't want to split up and will do whatever he wants. However, Edwin insists that he has to leave, and they will arrange the divorce later. As he starts to leave, Renata tries to stop him, but he becomes furious and knocks her down. After a while, Renata enters his office, and as he turns, she stabs him multiple times with a knife, ultimately killing him. Edwin's lifeless body collapses to the floor, and Renata breaks down in tears over what she has done. As Renata gets up, Edwin's phone receives a notification, and when she checks it, she discovers a message from Anna saying she is ready and waiting in the parking lot. Renata replies, instructing Anna to come to her place instead. After a while, Anna arrives at Renata's place. She notices a photo and picks it up and throws it on the floor. Anna then searches the house for Edwin, and while Renata approaches her with a knife, Anna suggests to Edwin that he should just kick Renata out so they don't have to find another house. Later, Anya enters Renata's bedroom, where she encounters Renata, who attacks her, but she dodges and tries to escape. But Renata pursues her and stabs her with the knife. Anna pleads with Renata, insisting that she and Edwin have nothing going on. However, Renata grabs Anna by the hair, forces her to stand, and then stabs her multiple times until Anna dies. The scene shifts, and Asmara confronts Renata, accusing her of being a murderer. Suddenly, Renata's expression changes, and she begins to laugh. She tells Asmara that all this time, everyone had assumed she was a fool, a weak woman, easily manipulated. Renata says that they all entered her life, fulfilling her husband's desires, disregarding her feelings and dignity. She accuses them of being greedy, each wanting Edwin for themselves and trying to separate him from her. She then takes a cigarette and smokes it in Asmara's face. And then, in a flashback, we see Renata's mother telling her that what God has united cannot be separated. However, it is then revealed that Renata's mother had mixed poison in her dad's tea, and Renata had seen her dad's condition deteriorating. We then see Renata watching a TV drama with Edwin's lifeless body next to her. She repeats the actress's dialogue, but this time it's the dialogue of the prostitute character, played by Asmara, and the character played by Asmara is killed by the other woman, whose husband is taken away by Asmara. Next, we see that Renata's house is very dirty, as if it has not been cleaned for many days. She sings the song that Anna used to sing and prepares Edwin's favorite meal, asking him if he likes it. Renata then says "I love you" to him, and the movie ends there. Thanks for facing the frights with us. If you survived this video, drop a like, summon that subscribe button, and brace yourself for more horror. Until next time, stay spooked.